Hey, it's been a while because, of course, it has. I've been doing YouTube a long time, off and on, and I never really got what I call a true footing in the YouTube space. And yes, this channel has had some hits, it's had some misses, and it's had some eras even. And I can't help but notice that this is a new era, whether I want it to be or not. And I'm at a point where I'm deciding, is this the final era? Is this the last hurrah? Is this the last time I'm going to be motivated to even do YouTube? So yeah, I'm in that headspace as of now. Like, there's something final about everything that's going on right now. So it made me think back to the beginning of this YouTube channel, and it really did start humble. Chris would make covers, some of which survived the copyright apocalypse, and that moved into us creating songs together. We had a few videos in this era, and it was truly a special time. Our songs wouldn't come out regularly, it would be like maybe once a month or something, and our music took a long time to create. Even back then, it took a long time. We do everything by hand. We play real drums, real keys, real guitar. We don't do any VSTs. We never have. And so our music would obviously take a while to come out. So we were beginning to look for ideas to fill that time and try to actually do YouTube like you're supposed to. And that led Phoenix Splash to Era 2. And Era 2 was gaming content. And we were called Phoenix Splash TV at this time because our goal was to not only have music but other different types of videos. Kind of like Channel Awesome or something like that. So I started a show called Game Analyzer where I would talk about video games. And luckily, my favorite game, Shenmue, would get its long-awaited third entry in the series. This meant that analyzing the older games would do quite well, and I was very knowledgeable of the game. But something I noticed is that it was kind of hard to turn those fans of gaming into fans of our music. But surprisingly, some did, and I didn't realize this until much later, that some Shenmue subscribers were actually commenting on our music. We still do gaming content on Pocket Master's channel with a series called Fighting Jam, where we play fighting games and the loser has to do something dumb or something. And Chris also talks about gaming peripherals on there as well. But as we were working on our music, the gaming content would fill the void, and it grew our channel's subscribers. However, and I learned this the hard way, I guess, if people subscribe for gaming content, it's likely they only want to see the gaming content. And even more so, I primarily talked about Shenmue. So that scope grew even closer. People only wanted to see the Shenmue content. And me being a Shenmue-focused video-making machine seemed to bother some of the other Shenmue egos out there, and it was going in all kinds of directions, and I knew it was a bit fruitless to keep going into that direction. So this led us into music commentary. I wanted to gather a different kind of audience, one that listened to music intensively. So I created the Musician Spotlight series and slowly transitioned from gaming talk to music talk. And I would pretty much learn the same lesson here. I started talking about my favorite bands, and I realized that when talking about Japanese rock bands, the videos would do pretty well. And as they say, you want to follow the views, and I did. I started making dozens of videos focused on Japanese rock and Japanese musicians, and I even did a 3-part video series on the notorious K-pop, which I believe at this time is still the most viewed video on this channel. That is one of our bigger hits. It made money, it was just crazy to say. But one thing I didn't anticipate was Musician Spotlight, people who subscribe, I'll get to that in a little bit, but people who watched Musician Spotlight, I didn't anticipate their reaction to us, the band behind the channel. Our album was finally ready. It was finally ready to go. We worked on it for maybe a year. It felt like a year. Maybe it was. It could have been longer, And we were finally ready to post our original music, as the channel always did. And these particular people absolutely hated it. And they would leave dislikes, they would leave negative comments. And these were people who would comment on Musician Spotlight videos. And they were trying to put this pressure on us to not release any music, but just keep talking about Japanese musicians. And there was this weird sense of entitlement from some of them. And here's the thing, these more vocal people that would watch the Musician Spotlights, they were never subscribed. They would pretend they were subscribed, but I guess they didn't realize that we can see who is subscribed if you comment. You know, there's a little sign there. While many subscribers from the series were generally pretty cool. Like every time I saw that subscription mark and they would put a comment, it was fine. And some of them even liked and gravitated towards our music. It even worked in a sense. But the entitled ones who never did subscribe, they would even comment, "I'm unsubscribing," even though they weren't even subscribed. It was really a really strange time, to say the least. And even then, I think we kept continuing that type of video. We kept making Musician Spotlights, all songs reviewed. I think that was the latest one. I really enjoyed making those. So during this time, we would make our music, post it, and make the music commentary videos. And we soon began realizing that our own original content was often surpassing the music commentary videos. Not only that, our original music was even gathering their own audience, separate from the commentary videos. And combine that with tons and tons of copyright claims, I should say. Music commentary videos would always get copyright claims, would always get removed, or, you know, we even got a strike. We even got a strike from one of them. We did a Shinaringo versus Utada Hikaru. That video took a long time to make. I had special guests, judges. They would even they made their videos and submitted it, and you know, it was a lot of work, and that video got taken down. So combine that with some of the negative Nellies that we would get from Musician Spotlight, and began to be clear where to steer Phoenix Splash. Our music was getting its own audience. We really didn't need to make music commentary, and we knew that our next album would be A Melancholy Dream, and every song would get a music video. So once A Melancholy Dream would release, we knew that it would be a new era. We'd be stepping into just posting our music. I had this big art project in mind, and I'm gonna get to that because the Dream era is my favorite era, and this is Era 4, the Dream era of Phoenix Splash. This is the most enjoyable and arguably, I mean, not really arguably, this is the most successful era of Phoenix Splash as a channel, and there's a caveat to that, and I'll explain what that is. But this is where Phoenix Splash truly felt like Phoenix Splash. We showed our faces, we played our music, and not only that, there was another layer. There were secret messages all over the place, and some viewers even got deep into it, and some videos led to secret unlisted videos using the end tag features. And A Melancholy Dream, it played like a choose your own adventure story, and you could even play a game and unlock a secret message deep within the maze of videos. I was really passionate about making video games. I made tons of RPGs. My skills weren't anything to be amazed at with gaming, making video games, but I wanted to incorporate that into the YouTube channel because I never really had before. And A Melancholy Dream was the way to do it. So there was still a little something else with our music. And during this time, we also became very efficient at making music and making music videos during this period. We released more songs than we ever would consistently, and we would gain more followers and listeners across other platforms other than YouTube. The band eventually got Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. We were able to put our music on platforms. We dropped the TV from Phoenix Splash. We can even get verified on YouTube. And we had songs that would spiral out of control with view count, like Sad, like Somerville, the grifter and the establishment, probably for obvious reasons, just to name a few. And it was during this time where our personal lives started taking off too. We began to get careers, we bought houses, we got married, all that stuff. That stuff was at the forefront of life, and just having the channel focus on music creation, it was nice. You know, we didn't have to think about commentary, we didn't have to think about conversations, about anything. We just made our music. And during this time, our problem kind of flipped. We would try to do commentary videos, and though there were few in between, we were struggling more so than our music. Our commentary videos struggled. And while the music was good and it would get views and stuff, eventually some of it felt rushed, and there's some instances where I could have taken a bit more time in the oven to cook, so to say. So I wanted to make sure that if another video took off, we had a strong style of commentary to follow up. And I still believe that talking to the audience is the best way to connect to them. And I think I started doing live streams, but it was always like after work, and oftentimes I was just very tired. I wasn't very enthusiastic, but still the channel was gaining more momentum than it ever had. And all of this cultivated in a big live show that would be hosted by us. No venue. We did have some live shows. We would post some stuff from that, but we wanted one where we had full control, and it would be recorded, and we just have the YouTube channel in mind, or the online thing in mind, while having an audience. And that was set to launch Phoenix Splash into the next era, which would have been the live era, where we do everything live. We were going to set up a Patreon, we were going to set up a shop, we were going to talk in between songs. It was going to be like commentary and music making, or music performing at the same time. I even planned for like live stream concerts and things like that. But as they say, life had other plans. After we played the live show, our drummer, Anthony, he passed away. And as soon as the shop launched and everything was beginning to be in place, I felt it wouldn't be right to go with it, so to speak. In fact, I really just kind of froze. I'm not gonna lie. It was at this moment like I really started questioning everything with Phoenix Splash. You know, it was painful to even think about it, and it was painful, and it took a very long time to get over that like sadness that came with everything. In this period, I also became a father, and life has changed in a drastic way. I took some time off, and I reflected on a few things. There were some ideas I've had for a long time that I at least want to try, and one of those is the podcast that features the jam session, you know, playing music and talking in between. And that's the Phoenix Splash Jam. We've actually already started that. And I also wanted to start a more journal type commentary video like the one you're watching now. And while I enjoyed the dream era of Phoenix Splash, things have changed. And those very hypnotic, artsy videos, they really do take a long time to make. I remember Monsters, that took a very long time to make that one. But, you know, I like looking back at them even today. But the music, you know, I want the music to speak for itself. Before Anthony passed, you know, we knew that I would have a child and I would be a father. And we talked about how the music videos would be more focused on just showing the music being played. And, you know, we just keep it simple, we just keep it raw, because Phoenix Splash really is raw. We hand play everything. I mean, that's a good thing, I think, in this era of like AI music and things like that. And, you know, we just keep it simple, and I think that's the direction that we're gonna go. But yeah, I won't keep this video too long. I really just wanted to talk about the different eras of Phoenix Splash. You know, I know there was like some unanswered questions, especially Musician Spotlight, why it stopped, you know, really for copyright. The copyright stuff was just getting annoying. And right now we're really just focusing on making our new album, Repair Mode. And as I'm making it, I'm not really thinking about like view count, subscribers, or growing the channel. Honestly, this channel has too many subscribers. A lot of people subscribe for like 1 or 2 or 3 songs, and then, you know, they didn't hit the bell. It's a lot of stuff, you know, with YouTube that annoys me. And so we have all these subscribers that we're dead to them already, like as soon as they hit that subscribe button. And yeah, so I'm really not thinking about that anymore. I'm really just focused on making music I want to make. I'm not delusional where I'm like thinking Repair Mode's gonna be the next great album and earn a Grammy and we're gonna go on play on Saturday Night Live and anything like that. I'm really just trying to make my 10-year-old self happy, I guess. When I think back to when I first started making music, what kind of music I wanted to make, you know, and a lot of the ideas I had back then and the dreams I had back then, you know, I pictured myself making 20-minute songs that were very deep and meaningful, and obviously that's not music today, you know. And I guess like with Repair Mode, I'm trying to make that child happy. Like, hey man, this is really for you, and you know, and there's a lot of healing with it too. And you know, this was my happy space, and it's hard when your happy space makes you sad, and that's where it is right now. And you know, even though I'm playing and it makes me happy, there's also a sadness to it. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, and if you've stuck around through years and you somehow are still getting Phoenix Splash recommended to you, that's amazing. Amazing how that works, and thank you for watching if you've been watching our videos. Thank you for listening if you've just been listening to our music. You know, I consider every view count a person. I consider every comment a person. And so like low numbers really don't bother me all that much. And you know, like I said, this is my creative space, and I think that's where I land now. Like Phoenix Splash is my expression, and whether people watch it or not, like that's not really my concern anymore, because I've seen what gets a lot of followers and I've seen what gets a lot of comments, and I'm like, you know, I don't really care for that. You know, I don't care to be a Mr. Beast or anything. I'm just gonna make my stuff, and if people want to watch, that's fine. If not, that's also fine. But anyways, thanks for watching. This is Hatman signing off.